Hello, children of the night. Yes, that's what we're going to say. It's another episode of Mikon talking into a camera like a moron. And, either you're going to turn off or not, but whatever. Like I keep saying, I don't need to do this. I don't know why I'm doing it, but, it's all good. We're going to talk about news, and those of you that have eagle eyes might have already seen on my monitor that the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Sandisk Extreme SSD issue that's been going on. So this is from Ars Technica, and I will do my absolute best. If I'm talking about something and from something that I've read or that I've seen, I will try and reference whoever it is that I got the information from, because I want to make sure that everyone gets their just desserts. Is that what it is? Well, I just want to make sure that I'm referencing when I reference somebody that they get credit for it, because someone put some work into putting this together, right? That's absolute. SanDisk Extreme SSDs keep abruptly failing. Firmware fix for only some promised, which is kind of scary. Ars Technica, saw two terabyte units become unreadable, but SanDisk only confirms 4 terabyte troubles. So anyway, I'm not going to go into the entire article. I don't have to read you the whole thing, but the thing is basically that there's a lot of SanDisk customers, and those SSDs are the kind of the cool looking, like this size, and it's got like a little notch in there that you can put a little carabiner in there or something like that, because everyone likes to have a SSD hanging off their pants. Um, the thing is a lot of people are getting upset, panicking, losing files and footage and whatnot. So that might be something to keep an eye on. If there's a firmware update, that's obviously a good thing. But that may mean that if there's a firmware update, you're going to have to wipe all the stuff that was on there. Although if it didn't work to begin with, or you lost it already, who knows? Just kind of curious though. It looks like it's just it says the problem seems to only affect a recent batch of drives, with one user claiming they were told via a Japanese distributor that, quote, this problem is causing, I love doing that. Isn't that fun? Like, quote, like you do on the news. Where this problem is causing a fuss and is only for those manufactured after November 2022. Ours couldn't confirm this. The Reddit user Ian Blank, I don't think that's his real name. I bet that blank has something on it, who claimed to be collecting error reports to share with SanDisk, agreed that the issue only affects recent batches, and some users said they used several Extreme and Extreme Pros over the years, but only saw one's purchase recently fail. Batches? We don't need no stinking batches. Look, I can't help myself. There are just times I tell you, if you knew me, like if you hung out with me, you'd be like, yeah, and you'd be rolling your eyes like my wife always does. Yeah, sorry, ladies, I'm married. Yeah, I'm taken. I know this beautiful man he ain't out in the pasture anymore. He's in the barn. What that means? Okay. So anyway, here's the what I thought was funny. So I went to Ars Technica, right? Then I've mentioned before, I like to go to newsshooter.com because they're really cool. Newsshooter.com. I go to newsshooter.com, scrolling down, minding my own business, just looking at stuff that I don't need to buy. And all of a sudden, boom, there are two deals that were posted on there. One, SanDisk Professional 4 terabyte Pro G40 SSD Thunderbolt 3 portable SSD. Wow, that's an easy name to say. On sale for $399.99. Okay, am I going to buy that right now? I don't think so. And then SanDisk Professional G Drive Project Thunderbolt 3 external hard drives. Although I don't know if that's a sale or they're just talking about a new type of that looks totally different. Forget what I just said, but don't forget the part I just said before that, because I just find that interesting that they're talking about a deal on a hard drive that has just now been claimed to be faulty. Now, you know, I don't claim to be the most intelligent person in the world. That could be totally different models, but I get a little nervous when I hear a company name like SanDisk, right? And they said they're having an issue. It's the same with if Toyota could have a recall on a Corolla but I'm driving a Tundra, it's still going to freak me out a little bit because the Corollas are all crashing, right? Um, I don't know. I've got some kind of, I make a connection with that company. Like, is there something else going on here? So, anyway, just buyer beware. Okay, is that enough news? That's probably, you guys are like, please, just keep going. A gear that I have in a quick review. So I bought a few weeks ago. I this I don't know when this is going to come out. Not too long ago, about the Hollyland Mars M1 transceiver set, and it uses Sony NPF batteries. Sony NPF batteries are about like that big, and it seems like every monitor company out there uses those, or they use the little Canon LP batteries, right? And sometimes they use both, which is really freaking cool. So Sony NPF batteries are pretty ubiquitous, and again, like I said, they use them on monitors and whatnot. This monitor I have happens to use those kind of batteries. But this is an adapter that adapts from uh, NPF to V mount, which is pretty cool because I have a lot of V mount batteries. And I thought that was really awesome. And the price was freaking uh, cheap. I'm going to Amazon and I'm going to look at my orders because that's how I remember what the heck I bought. And I've bought a lot. I've been having some issues outside with my we have a sprinkler. I don't have like a professional sprinkler system. I've got some sprinklers stuck in the ground. I got a timer on it, right? And I wanted, because I'm Mr. Fancy Pants, I wanted to have a sprinkler system that was Wi-Fi based. And I set it all up last year, and then I forgot to bring it all in during the winter. So one of them cracked. The internal pipe cracked and it broke, and I spent way more time than any human being should trying to get a new one and troubleshoot it. So let's see. Let me look up a. So I have to search because let's do a search for V mount, shall we? Boom, there it is. Man, see, it's amazing when you do a search and something shows up. So this product that I found, and I will post a picture. I'll do a link, and I'll do the whole buy it through me, and I can make 3 cents if you purchase it, and I don't know, scratch your elbow. V-Lock battery adapter V-mount to NPF V-mount battery adapter NPF battery for V-mount battery supply monitor camera. They went nuts with the title, and it's from the Uxlaya store. I was just talking about crazy names. This has got a crazy name. It doesn't matter, but the thing is, it's actually really kind of small, and what is amazing is it cost me $32, and there is a 5% coupon you can apply. So it's going to be even cheaper than that. I don't do math very well. So take 5% off of that and off of 31 or $32, and you've got yourself a handy little product. And it's sometimes, I mean, I've got some real expensive gear, and then sometimes it's stuff like this that doesn't really cost a whole lot that makes all the difference. It makes your life easier, makes it better. And that's always my advice, which I'm going to save for my final thought. We'll do advice on gear, right? Oh, God, it's so cool. It's all working out now. Production business philosophy tip. Now that I've written that out, I really am not sure. So this is our next. We're done with this section. I'm going to turn this off. Click away. You can't even look at it anymore. It's not allowed. We're going to talk about production business philosophy tips. So now I've got this whole thing. I use Apple Notes. Newts. Why did I say it like that? Apple Newts. And I am going to go through and just kind of um, if it takes too long, I'm going to do what's called an edit, and I'm going to trim it so that you won't see me staring at my screen like a moron longer than I need to. And I say that in the kindest way. Let's see. Okay. All right. I got one. Let's talk about what you want to do in production. And I'm assuming if you're watching this old fart, then you have some interest in production and maybe an unhealthy interest in production. Hey, no judgment. What I'm going to say though is, what do you want to do in production, right? What is it that you're interested in? And I work on set with lots of different people, and lots of people just starting out. Some people that have been in it a while. In it a while, boy, man, I've got to really enunciate. Um, but that's what I'm always asking people. What are you interested in? What do you want to do? Because you want to get from point A to point B, right? And as anyone that's starting out in this business, you pretty much know that you're going to start at the bottom somewhere, unless you're really wealthy, or you're just lucky, or you've murdered somebody. I don't know how that would help, but uh, you want to be a well, first, I think you need to go beyond just saying I want to be a filmmaker, right? Because what does that mean? You want to be a filmmaker? Do you want to produce and direct and act in whatever your own movies? Okay, that's cool. And even in that whole realm, I mean, to me, filmmaker is really really broad. I mean, I guess I'm considered a filmmaker. I don't make movies anymore, but I'm still a filmmaker, right? And even that's kind of funny, since we don't even really use film that much. And if you do, man, you got some issues. We'll talk about that some other time. The point is, do you want to be a director? Do you want to be a DP? Do you want to be a producer? Do you want to be an audio person? Do you want to do hair and makeup? What is it that you want to do? Kind of think of what you want to do. And when you're starting out, you may have no idea. Just that, like a moth to the flame, you're just so entranced by all the lights and all the tech and all the gear and all that kind of stuff, which is what my problem was. You want to do it, but you just don't know what you want to do in it. That's Boy, that could sound wrong. But so my point is, kind of figure out what you want to do and then go from there, right? So say you're on set, you're a PA, you've decided that I want to be a DP. Okay, well, I'm sorry for you. Um, so what are the steps that you need to take to be a DP? What are the steps that you want to take to be a DP? Well, first of all, let's think about that, right? Because we want to we need to kind of put our egos aside and realize that we're not going to be a DP on a major production, just right away, right out of the bag. Um, Again, there's a rare instance, there's an exception for all of that, but we're not talking about the exceptions. We're talking about the rule, which is most of the rest of humanity. Um, Show your interest. Talk to the DP that's on set. Don't bother them when they're working, but when there's some off time, and say that, and also mention you might be interested in talking to them outside of the set. It's hard to talk shop when you're on set unless you're at lunch and they want to talk about it. And that's kind of my first advice, is just to introduce yourself to some people, tell them that you're interested in. Most everybody on set is going to be really excited that you're interested in what they're doing, and that's kind of the first step, right? Then the second one is, well, what do you need to do to be a DP? Well, obviously you need to build some skills. Now, we live in a world where, sure, 20, 30 plus years ago, you needed a film camera, and it was going to be really expensive, and it was hard to, the barrier to entry was super super high. The skills of being a DP, it doesn't matter if you're using an iPhone, a Barbie doll camera, um, a, an Arri Alexa, or a Red whatever. None of that stuff really matters. It's really learning how to speak through the camera, how to do lighting, understanding lighting and things like that. So grab yourself whatever camera that you can. There's got to be a camera, probably on your phone. If that's the best that you've got, then work with it. Go with what you've got. If you can afford to buy something, buy something. Don't buy anything new, please. Please don't buy anything new. I want to talk about that some other time, but don't buy stuff new. Buy something used. There's a lot of stuff out there that is really, really good. And it doesn't matter if it's a few years old, it'll still be really, really high quality. I'm seeing cameras, the FS7, Sony FS7 is a camera that I have one. I'm actually working on selling right now. Um, they're going for so much less than what they started out with, and they weren't that expensive in the grand scheme of things, to start out with. But Start with that. Find yourself a camera if you don't like using an iPhone, and just slowly work your way up. And then the other thing is this something that you want to do honestly as a career, or is this something that you want to do for fun on the side? Are you going to be an actual intelligent person that goes and gets a real degree in something? And I know you guys are going to hate on me for saying this kind of stuff, but you could go and be a doctor and still do film. You could be an accountant and still do film. So you're making money and then you're doing this for enjoyment. And maybe that enjoyment thing will turn into something bigger. If this is 100% what you want to do and you want to live this life and live in this world, and I mean, I do, I love it. That's why I'm still doing this after all these years. Then that's great. Then you got to spend the time, and the energy and the effort to get out there and do it. Start learning, start researching. Anyone out there now that has access to the internet has access to all the knowledge of the world, basically, right? I'm amazed when I go online and I have a stupid question, and there's someone that has answered that question. Maybe not correctly, but the point is, there's an answer for everything, and there's people that talk about, technique, and there's people that talk about philosophy and talk about, I'm not saying philosophy, people talk about theory, all that kind of stuff. It's all out there, and some of it is garbage for sure, and but then there's a lot of it that's actually very, very good. And the other thing is, it's going to sound crazy. There are books out there. I know. And there's a lot of knowledge out there. I mean, film has been around for well over 100 years now, 120, 130 years now. So there's a lot of knowledge that has been generated over the years, and there's a lot of really, really good books out there that could give you the information that you need. And then the other thing is just to go out there and start shooting stuff, right? Go out and grab that camera and go film something. Find someone, if you're not good at making stories up or whatever, find someone that is, and work together, collaborate. It's a collaborative business anyway, as you know, ad nauseum. Everyone says that. But the point is, you just got to get out there and start doing it. The more that you do it, the better you're going to get at it. And then start making connections, start talking to people, show people your stuff. Don't be afraid of what they're going to say. Just like I'm doing this thing, and I know that, in the back of my head, I'm like, my God, people are actually going to watch this? Probably not. But even that's embarrassing. It doesn't matter. Just do it. Keep doing it. Go, 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 go. Do it. Okay. Uh, that may or may not have helped anybody. A gripe on set etiquette. There's one for you. And this is excuse me. Set etiquette issues where, let's say something goes wrong on set. I recently had a shoot where something went wrong on the set, and I definitely was not happy about the situation. But I also realized that there were a lot of other things going on. Was what happened detrimental to the entire project? No, which is a good thing. And even if it had been, that there's ways of addressing it. But in my opinion, when you're on a set, you need to act like a professional. That's just the way it is. I joke around all the time. I tell my stupid stories and things like that. Car, not mine. But when you're on set, be professional. Okay. If you have a beef with somebody, if you have an issue with something, something goes wrong, find a way to handle it in a professional manner and then take care of it. If you have a gripe with somebody, save it till later on. And especially if you are working on the type of set where there are clients around, maybe you're shooting a commercial and the agency's there and the end client is there. Maybe you're working in a corporate video and you were hired by a production company to come in and be the DP or a gaffer or a grip. But so you're working for them, and you also have an end client there. Treat them as your client too. And if you're on a film set, just the same way. There are people that are putting the money into this. They may or may not be on set that day, but I guarantee you, anything that happens on set is going to get back to the people that are in control of it. So be professional at all times when you're on a set. And I get it. Sometimes, tempers flare, things happen, accidents happen, whatnot. It's how you handle those kind of things that makes all the difference, and that's the stuff that people are going to remember about you. And also, when you have a hair that flies in your mouth when you're talking really serious. But the point, the point is, be professional. Uh, and when you need to take care of a situation, something needs to be handled, find the best way that you can do it in a professional manner. And again, kind of try your best to set your ego aside, at least for the time being. And then once everything's over with, once you guys have wrapped, if you need to complain about something to somebody, find a way to say it. That's maybe not, a mean way of saying things. And this comes from both sides. I've had people that were really upset with me about something and decided just to blow up on me. Well, the problem is now I'm not really that inclined to be working with them. My morale and the rest of the set's morale has all gone down. So what does that help? Anything? Stay professional. Stay professional. That's okay. That's that tip. I have a colleague, a friend actually, that I've worked with for a long time, and what he told me has really made a difference and has really resonated in my production life and production business. And that is, your time is your inventory. So you got to think about that for a little bit. Maybe not. You might be a lot smarter than me. But I had to really think hard about that, right? Your time is your inventory, right? So think of it as when you offer your services, say as a freelancer, or maybe you're working for a company and you're doing production work at the company, the amount of time that you have on this earth is very, very limited, right? And hopefully you'll live a long life. But the point is, you can't get that time back, right? You can't reverse it and get it back. So it's not like when you sell a product, right? You can sell 500 products, whatever, that's your inventory when you have that kind of a business. When you have a service, when you work in a service industry, which and I put that in whether you're doing film production or you're doing corporate or you're doing documentaries, whatever, it is a service business, right? Because you're serving the production, you're serving someone else, you're serving a client, but you only have so much time in your life. So you need to think about what you're doing, right? What are you doing with that time that you have left? Are you making use of it? Are you doing a project that maybe you're not that interested in? Maybe you're doing a project um, that just isn't worth your time. And the same thing with a client. Is the client worth your time? There are a lot of really bad clients out there. So your time is your inventory. So just don't forget that. Remember to always put that in the back of your head when you get up in the morning. My time is my inventory. What am I going to do with my inventory? What am I going to do with my time that I have left? I'll leave that there to stew, and we will make another video and we'll talk about life in general. Okay, good night. Oh, yeah, like and subscribe.